You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.fm network. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. Second hour, it is all about guns, but more than guns, mindset, training, and real-life experience. And maybe also a little bit of politics. Why not? I tell you, I really enjoy and appreciate the opportunity to be on the air, especially to produce the show, because they gave me the opportunity, is giving me the opportunity to meet the most interesting humanity out there. Something normally, you really don't meet every day at Walmart or at the grocery store. I mean, yes, you may meet them, but doesn't mean that you start to interact with them. So I'm excited because it's so much to learn, not just from the tactical point of view, but also from the humanity. I mean, we all go through different journey and we all have different experiences. And sometimes you think, your daily life, it's a tough life. Okay, I understand. You got bills to pay, a wife to take care, maybe more than one. That's fine. But think about some other parts of the world. They wake up in the morning and they don't even know really if what they're going to do for lunch. I mean, they're going to be alive or not. Okay. Anyway, of course, the line already ringing, but let me bring somebody here that is going to be pretty much on my show today. His name is Trinity from somewhere in Arizona. Trinity.
Good morning.
How you doing, Trinity? Introduce yourself, please.
My name's Trinity. I'm part of a Christian church-based unit that has been helping the Kurdish Peshmerga for the last 2 years. And we're trying to bring awareness to their plight.
This is pretty interesting because, you're from my own state. We live in Arizona, but I found you through Facebook, and that's interesting. And then out of the blue, I started to realize that when you were chatting with me on Facebook, at least a few days ago, you were in some other part of the world. You were all the way exactly where? Which part of the Middle East?
We were near Kurdistan. Near the Turkish border.
Wow, and that's a long way. I mean, I don't think there's some special agency, a travel agency organizing trips like let's go to Kurdistan. Okay, and you're gonna have and on top, not only you go there, I mean, you're gonna get shot at just as you land. Okay, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Probably would be a nice business idea. People likes to have some sort of a different type of vacation. That would be a thrill. But anyway, how did you find out that you could even reach this part of the world? It's not exactly a direct Phoenix to Kurdistan, right?
No, there's not. I have friends that were embedded with the YPG and fighting with them, and I got in contact with them, and they helped me get to where I needed to go.
Okay, so there are different routes because, as I said, there is not direct line, New York, Kurdistan, first class. There are probably different ways.
Yeah, not really. I mean, we're even having issues with people who are trying to come home, American citizens that went out there to fight.
Yeah.
And they're finding out now they can't even return to the USA, so I was very lucky.
Okay, let's go a little bit. I want to start from the beginning. First of all, when you go down there, exactly, who are you fighting exactly?
We're fighting ISIS. They're horrible people. They kill people indiscriminately out there. I don't know what I can say on here, but yeah, it's really bad. I mean, the Syrian government's trying to kill the Kurdish. The Turkish government declared them a terrorist organization. And so all these people are trying to kill the Kurds. And the Kurds are the most peace-loving. They're Christian and they're Muslim, but most of the Muslim Kurds have left that religion and went back to their original faith.
Okay. And this is interesting because, after all, many people say, wow, guy, you are from Phoenix, Arizona, and you got probably your family, things to take care. We have a lot of problems here in the U.S. What really motivates you to completely leave everything behind with a lot of, it's not like even you joined the army, at least you got some sort of retirement plan, or maybe you got insurance, or, I mean, you got paid at least, okay? And if they put some hole in you, there's somebody's, you have some sort of a medical care. You go there, you may probably pretty much, only God knows what's going to happen. And all this, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody's going to pay you when you go there, or you're doing it for free?
No, we volunteer. We like myself. I had friends that were already embedded,
Mm-hmm.
and they once you're there, they give you a host family. Like you almost have like a foster family.
Okay.
You live with them, you eat with them, they feed you, they pay you when they can. They do, just to have money while you're there, but it's not much.
Yeah.
So you got to do it for the love of the people, not the money.
Well, that's a pretty, regardless what people may think about it, this is an act of love, in my opinion, because after all, you put your life in jeopardy for any type of personal gain, just because you believe in what you're doing. And of course, according to what you tell me, and then I'll tell you a couple things. I really believe that first of all, the threat of Muslim is real. I mean, this is not just today.
Oh,
I mean, let's look last 700 years. I mean, in Italy, I mean, in Europe, we had them on the gates of Vienna. Okay, and these people, they've been using the sword to conquer and convert. That's the idea. So,
of course.
but the only my point go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to, go ahead.
No, my point is the religion itself, if you want to call it religion, I call it cult. But the point is unfortunately, is founded on blood and violence. That's a fact. I mean, and this is not an opinion. You got to read their books. I mean, the Quran and the different other parts of their books, and that's exactly what they say. So if you are a good Muslim, unfortunately, it is not really compatible with an open civil society. That's a fact, because there is no like,
it is not.
I mean, look at the Buddhists. The Buddhists, okay, they don't care about you. They mind their business, okay? You don't need to. Nobody was converted to Buddhism with a sword on their throat, okay? And, many other religions, I know some religions too in the past, they had some violence history. Look also at LDS, they had, but at the end of the day, nothing. The last 200 years we had compared to what we're going on right now. So my point is another one, though. The reality is, what I look at this, it's like, let's say, the boogeyman that is real. I believe the boogeyman can be real. The bad, evil guy is there. There are evil people out there, but they're used as pawns by somebody else for some other purposes. For example, you remember the time with Al-Qaeda. There was a document directly in the 70s that was created by the CIA to destabilize, the idea of the war against the Russians. And then, of course, they lost control and they become Al-Qaeda, and then they be used for other purposes. And the same story, same story with ISIL. And let me play this for you, because, when I post something on your Facebook, I was trying to be a little funny. I said, wow, you're all the way down there in the middle of nowhere to fight these bastards, and that's admirable. But I could save you some gas money, and maybe if you go to Washington, okay?
Yeah, I remember that.
Pennsylvania Avenue, the ringleader is there. And let me play 1 second this bastard. 1 second. Stay
Moving
there.
too slowly. But the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Okay, let's say 1 second.
So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces, speeding up training of...
Okay, that's just, and there is much more. I mean, they've been declassified documents from the Pentagon. They've been so much information. It's mainstream now, okay? The fact that we know that part of this administration, or at least this administration, to destabilize that part of the world, especially Syria, they want to remove Assad. They've been creating and propping up ISIS. Then, of course, I don't know if they really lost control or that was part of the plan, but they first prep these bastards up, and then they use the same tax dollar that we've spent to prep him up to try to destroy him, but just partially, because they don't want to completely kill him. What do you think? Am I out of lunch, or I got some sort of...
No.
Because you've been there, I don't know. I just see what I can see from here. What is your opinion? What's going on there?
Okay, my opinion is this. There's no such thing as a moderate Muslim. There's not. There's no peaceful Muslim. They have a thing called Sharia law that literally conflicts with the Constitution. We can't have two governments in one country. And that's exactly what they're trying to do by bringing these refugees here. They're trying to turn our country into those crap holes that are over there.
Yeah, and I believe also is a part of, as you said, they create the crisis and then they give us the solution. The solution means more tyranny and more destruction of our Constitution, Bill of Rights. For example,
Oh, exactly.
when you bring here a flood without any type of vetting, and even if there is a vetting, as you said, I'm sorry, if you bring one group only that unfortunately comes with a religious background that is not really integrable with the open society, civil society, I mean, you have a problem because they don't have enough time to assimilate. Okay, so let's say you have at least 100,000 refugees, like in Germany right now, more than 100,000 a year they're bringing in. You know that it's a number game. Among the 100,000, all you need to have, let's say 5% that they are completely good old-fashioned Muslims, that they really believe their book word by word, and their job is to see, are you going to convert, or you're going to put a burqa, or we're going to rape your wife after we cut her throat. That's the bottom line. So of 100,000 people, even if you get 5% that they are really still living in the Middle Ages, like normally they do, you have at least 5,000 people that they are potentially armed, or at least armed with their mind of terrorists, because they really love to kill. That's what they do best. And and they're gonna bring you war in your own country. At that point, think about it. If everything goes out of control, look at the Boston Marathon, okay? For two idiots, okay, or whatever we think they are, because I don't know the whole story. Probably there is more that we didn't know. But just for two people, they put under martial law the whole town. 1 million people, they were kept kidnapped in their homes, and they had to surrender the Fourth Amendment, and that for just two alleged terrorists, okay? Imagine if you have hundreds of them or thousands of them in all over the states. That would be complete martial law. So that's, I think, what they're trying to do here. They're trying to have the type of bring the Trojan horse and then let it go out of control, and then they will create the martial law scenario that I think we all concern.
Exactly. See, they want us to trade security for our freedom.
Exactly.
And so they don't mind allowing them to come over here to create that atmosphere.
Exactly.
And then when we're all afraid, they're going to do martial law, and we're going to accept it and say thank you.
Yes.
Which, we're not going to accept it.
I know. but in their mind, the majority of the people, normally that they don't even know how to tie their shoes, they say, yes, please, government, save me, because they believe everything the little box called TV says to them.
Of course.
Now, question is, to go to these type of places, I'm sure that, yes, you must have, first of all, a good heart and probably a lot of love to do what you're doing. But at the same time, you must have some background, because I don't suggest this type of activities. It's not like going to the I don't know, to the county fair and shooting at the little, balloons. Okay, it's a lifetime experience that you must have some background, I guess, just to try to have the basic skills to make it back. What is your professional background when it comes down to, let's say, conflict zones? I mean, to try to be there and fight an enemy that anyway does have no rules. And what is your background? Do you have any military background?
Well, yeah, I was in the Army from 1995 to 2008. I was in the surge in Iraq. Yeah, I got plenty of background. I was working for academia for a while, which is formerly known as Blackwater. And I really fell in love with the Kurds. I mean, I read an article about a guy named Keith Broomfield. They call him the Lion of Ramadi. He was a Christian guy somewhere here in the USA, and he never even had military experience. He felt God call him to go defend those people. He went there and became like a legend, but he ended up being murdered.
Wow.
And the Peshmerga actually had a real big funeral for him, and they even got his body to his family. And I'm not sure how they did that. But, so the love of the people is the main reason. You don't really need a background in the military, but what you can do, I mean, they need help with food, missionary work, just all around help. I mean, you don't have to be a warrior, but you just have to have the love.
Okay. Let's start to see, how was your typical day when you were there in the region? I mean, first of all, you get up in the morning. I'm sure you don't have that Starbucks coffee place around that place. What is your...
No. Actually, it's really cool.
Tell me.
The people there would feed you, and where we lived, I'm getting a bunch of reverb back.
Okay, let's see why. Let me try to figure it out. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, and from where my host family lived was only 6 miles to the front line, and he had little kids.
Wow, 6 miles.
And you know, you don't have support. You don't have the army dropping bombs for you. If you get into something, you can't get out of it unless you fight your way out of it.
Mm. So the bottom line is every day is a different day. But did you have like some sort of, let's say, leadership tell you tells you what to do?
Of course.
So what is, for example, your average, day plan? You get up in the morning, you have a little meal, and I'm curious, what do they eat there? Because every culture has a different breakfast, and I don't even know if they call it breakfast.
They eat fruits, fish. I mean, all sorts of stuff. I mean, they're wonderful cooks.
Great. That's interesting. So you have your meal. Then you got, first of all, your gear. I mean, I'm curious. This is the hour about guns after all. People say, oh my gosh, you didn't talk about guns yet. We are going there, guys. This is about life now. Probably even more important. So you got, first of all, what type of gear did you have in that environment? Because also you need to always work what type of resupply you can have when it comes down to ammunition.
Believe it or not, man, my church sent us money. They supplied body armor. The weapons we had to acquire from the YPG.
Mm-hmm.
And we went through a little bit of their training and assimilated with their units. And I was in an American YPG unit. We were intermingled. Kurds and Americans, British, Australians are coming over right now. I mean,
wow.
We got tons of people just flocking to help them.
Wow, that's huge. So technically, you were facing two fronts, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to be sure I got it. One is the ISIS under the direct, let's say, training of a CIA and Chief Obama. Okay, that's one.
Oh yeah.
And then you have the other side. This let's say this group of this tribal group that they are also facing let's say the attack from Syria. Correct?
The Turkish government as well, yeah.
Oh, Turkish and Syria. So they're pretty much alone against everybody, I guess. Wow. That's pretty interesting.
It's like a four-way fight out there, man.
Wow.
Everybody's fighting everybody.
So what exactly, this Kurds, what they want? They want some autonomy? They want some freedom in their own area? What they want to be
The Kurdish want their own state. They want to be free from tyrannical rule. Okay. They're freedom fighters. That's exactly who they are.
And exactly where they are located now? They are between, they occupy part of Turkish, part of Syria?
And part of Iraq. There's Kurds in Iraq, there's Kurds in Syria and in Turkey.
So they would like to have like a little bit of space that they can say, okay, we don't want to be under Syria, we don't want to be under Iraq, we don't want to be under whatever, leave us alone. Okay, that's pretty much what they're trying to do. And I understand the feeling, this is something that almost comes back to our original revolution, the 1775, 17...
That's exactly what this is.
As I say something before, regardless what people may think or not, if you think about it, that you are going down and putting your life at risk, and also, sometimes life is an easy way out. I always feel sorry for people that come back without a leg or without an eye or maybe without arms, okay? So even worse. All this because at the end of the day, especially when you understand that you're not a naive guy, you've been there, you know that there has been a lot of fraud and lies that we've been told, and you go there and you know that you're putting your life at risk, fighting also against our own tax dollar that translates almost against our own phony government, because that's, I think, is a very great act of patriotism when you fight at the same time a tyrannical government, also on the other side, helping out other people to try to live. That's interesting, the way I look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead, sir.
No, I was going to ask you another thing. This is something interesting now. as you said before, there are different tasks. You don't need to go there and fight. You can be just maybe a helper, maybe a medical, try to help in every way you can. Like
doctors, nurses.
Exactly. Or maybe, just bring your extra arms and help. Okay, that's great. But coming down to a point of a combat, I think you went there with your background. I don't think you went there to cook pasta for them. Okay, probably you were there to help in different way. Now, what exactly was your role? I mean, you can spell it out. You were there, you were shooting at people, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what are the rule of engagements? I mean, you go in an area. First of all,
there are no rules of engagement. You just kill them.
Yeah, that's it. So,
I mean, you have to kill them. I mean, the Peshmerga, they're very friendly to people. Now, we have had Islamic refugees cross our lines, and they feed them, they help them, they do whatever they can for them. They don't hate the Arabic people. They hate Daesh, and that's Arabic for ISIS.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not like they even hate the Muslims. Well, I mean, they do, because of what they're doing. But the people that are fleeing, they're trying to help as well. So, it's not like they're just, but bad guys that you catch and stuff, it's very hard to keep them.
Yeah,
because you got to feed them. It's logistics. It's, you got to watch them 24 hours a day. It's not like where we can take a bunch of prisoners and send them to Gitmo. We don't. There is no Gitmo.
Yeah. That's another story too. By the way, that's another thing that probably I don't know where you stand on that, but it's been also used against us too, because as I said, Gitmo was the first layer of to say, we have no proof, we have no evidence, or maybe we think we have something, but there is no due process, and the government, they just can lock you up forever. They started with them, and I'm sure among them there were many useful idiots that they were doing bad things. But then also you realize that they will also try to brainwash us now that they can do the same thing under the National Defense Authorization Act 2012. Now American people like me and you, we can be suspected to be terrorists and we can thrown out at Gitmo.
Of course.
Indefinitely. So that was a warm-up for what's happening now next to us. Now, question is, when you go on the field, let's say, normally you will play in defensive position or offensive position, try to reclaim terrain, or you were trying to defend your areas?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
So, because, you were infantry, I don't think you had any airplanes there with you, but did you have any type of transportation? What was that? Typical pickup truck?
Pickup trucks. That's it.
That's it. So, no, any type of.
We had a couple technicals with some weapons on them. But you got to remember, these are just regular folks. Now America is starting to get involved in. I heard that there was American forces on the ground near them, which is a great thing. Mm-hmm. So, they have advisors coming over now. So,
but the only thing is sad, as we know, and there is so much more evidence. I wish this wasn't true. I hate what they're doing with our name, but the reality is that they've been propping up and paying and supporting ISIS. And when I say this administration, with the part of the rogue of the CIA or whatever they are behind, they've been doing this. And then they have the excuse to say, we got to go fight ISIS. So more for the military-industrial complex, more. And then, of course, we need to get now our boys, try to fix the problem that we created. Not me and you, but this bastard at the White House with his handlers behind created. That's the reality.
They left a big vacuum in Iraq in 2008. And the insurgency in Iraq turned into ISIS. Mm-hmm. And, and from what I understand, I did a little research myself, and I heard ISIS even started in a Jordanian prison.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, question is, you were telling me a little bit about guns because, as I said, you have pretty much, you got to work with the locals, whatever they have and what you have. What was your basic combat rifle that you had there available with you?
AK-47.
AK-47. And any type of
Correct.
model, any type of things, any type of brand, Russian, Chinese, normally what it goes around there?
Well, we've had sporadic stuff. You got stuff we've taken back from the battlefield. We've even got some American components that we were able to seize back from ISIS.
Okay.
So
interesting. And normally there were any AK-74 or just AK-47? Because normally, the new.
Oh no, plenty of AK-74s. All the basic Russian type weapons. The whole region is flooded with that stuff. So that's common on the battlefield over there.
If you want to buy an AK-47 on the market there, how much goes for?
I'm thinking about $35.
Wow, I need to move there just to buy a few more. Okay, that would be fun. And of course, they're
rather cheap.
Yeah, you don't need a $200 stamp from the federal government, right, for the ATF and.
No.
I'm just playing with you. Of course not. All right, at least you got.
Yeah, and the whole thing with our government, man, they seen the writing on the wall. They knew this was happening.
Of course,
this could have been stopped when ISIS was small.
But they wanted it.
We could have wiped them out. We could have wiped them out at any time we wanted. And like you said, they let it fester, so it'll spill into our communities. And once it's in our communities, we're screwed. I mean, we can't even fight back because we'll be arrested.
Exactly. Remember, they've been training them, they've been financing them. That's more than just some sort of negligence, unfortunately. I mean, I have here, let me see, because sometimes, I don't believe anything they say on the media, but sometimes, once in a while, they got something good, okay? For example, there is this ISIS fighter trained by the State Department in the U.S. It was on CNN, okay? I don't know if you ever watched that video. I mean, this is just another situation, and there are so many more. And as I say, listeners, if you're still waking up, you don't know what's going on. I hate the idea even to think that part of our tax dollars is doing this, but this is a fact. We cannot, we cannot ignore reality. Now, more about weapons, since this is the hour about guns. So you got a AK-47. Normally, your rig. What type of carry rig? How many magazines you were able to carry with you in your rig?
I carried 8.
8, okay. Any side?
And they had more in the trucks.
Okay.
When we're near the line.
Yeah, because you never know really where you go when you get out. You never know when you come back. I mean, seriously, you don't have any type of dropping of extra ammunition, things like that. You're on your own.
No. You're on your own.
Exactly. What about, for example, side weapon? What was your side weapon you had, if you had any?
I actually got a Colt Commander.
Okay.
45, yeah. I'm not sure where they got it from, but I was able to get one.
Wow, that's pretty good. And another question is, another problem I can imagine there in the area is to have water. I mean, it's hot. You got to fight and you stay out for hours. Normally you have canteens, or you have some sort of a camelback. What did you have?
Well, I had a Camelback, and they always had extra water in the trucks. We'd bring 55-gallon drums of water.
Okay.
We would have it near where we needed it.
Now, any special, let's say, training, things that you had to go through when you joined the locals? I mean, first of all, communication. You speak English, of course.
Yeah. You go through their training. You graduate just like you would a basic training.
Wow.
And then you get embedded into the unit. So when you go there as a volunteer, they, even though you've been there, you still go through it, and you get to know the people, and that's when you get bonded to them,
okay.
And you see how wonderful they are. I mean,
Interesting. So, I mean, at least if I was a local and I see a man like you, a woman, because I think maybe even women, who knows, any women came to help as doctors, or maybe even as just whatever, just to help from other countries?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We have people coming all the time that are medical, so I mean, any type of job you could think of on a battlefield,
wow.
People are volunteering for.
I mean, think about that. I mean, you have somebody that is not even born there. Normally, they don't care. I mean, everybody's in their country trying to take care of their problems. And you go there and they see you. I think they really they should love you. I mean, it's something that, wow, you come here to help me out.
It's an amazing feeling how those people treat you.
That's great. It's really good. At least you have that. I'm glad you're back, by the way, because I tell you, this is really not a game, guys. This is not like a video game. You go there, they just hit me, reset. I mean, the best thing can happen to you, I really believe, from my point of view, that you get killed. The problem is that you could also be, let's say, kidnapped or whatever and tortured, right?
Oh, no. I always said to myself, I always carried one magazine with one bullet in it. And if I ever got to the end and I had no ammo and I pulled that one magazine out, that bullet was for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, I understand.
They weren't going to catch me.
I agree.
I'm not going to get burned alive on CNN. Me and my friends, we already get talked about it. And we all had the same pact. You're not taking us alive. We're Americans. You'll love it way too much.
Oh, that would be really probably one of the worst death. For many reasons. It is something not humane. I mean, not even an animal should be treated like that. Lisa, let me play one.
I mean, if you've seen what they did to dogs,
yes,
and cats. I mean, they hate. I mean, they hate life in general. I was talking to a guy. He was we were monitoring ISIS social media, and this one lady had just had a baby. Okay, this jihadi wife just had a baby, and she was so happy that it was a boy, and the boy would be martyred someday for Allah. She had the kid dead at 3 months old.
Oh, wow.
Just talking about her son.
Wow.
Wanting him to blow up.
Wow. Let me play 1 second this. So I have this just because my point here, I want to try to shred at least part of the truth, because the truth probably we will never know all the truth, but at least some that normally we don't not being told all day. But this is from CNN, believe it or not. So when we have Obama out there say, we gotta fight ISIL. And by the way, I need to figure it out what is ISIL and not ISIS. Maybe you can help me out with that. But my point is,
Levant is the name. It's the L stands for Levant, like they're a caliphate.
Okay, so
and that's another problem, because everybody else calls them ISIS or Daesh.
Yeah,
he's being respectful to them.
I see now. Now I see
that is a respectful name for ISIS.
Of course, the guy is a Muslim. So what do you expect from him? And all he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim with an agenda to destroy America. That's a fact. But let me play 1 second this little CNN stuff, because it's important. Another piece of the puzzle. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Now it's coming out. Nice fighter. Okay, this is from CNN.
Donned in ISIS black, he confidently carries a long sniper rifle, a bandolier of ammunition. He picks off a tomato to show his skill. This is an ISIS video, and CNN has just learned this man trained on American soil. The fighter says he's Gulmurad Khalimov, a former commander in a special police counter-terror unit in Tajikistan, a key U.S. ally.
From 2003 to 2008, I received specialized training in America on the military base of Blackwater.
Blackwater, a controversial U.S. contracting company which sent private security personnel to Iraq and trained other countries' fighters at this compound in North Carolina. Contacted by CNN, Academy, the company that purchased Blackwater's training facility, was unable to confirm that Khalimov was there. The State Department tells CNN Khalimov participated in 5 counterterrorism courses in the U.S. and Tajikistan between 2003 and last year. We spoke with former Army sniper Paul Shari about what he might have learned.
What skills that he would have learned do you think might hurt Allied forces on the battlefield? So the types of training that he's likely to have received would have been basic tactics and maneuvers, the ability to, say, move through a building, move through an urban area in a tactical way, maybe basic marksmanship.
Shari says U.S. contractors wouldn't have trained Khalimov to be a killing machine like Rambo. But if Khalimov was a top commander in Tajikistan's counter-terror forces, there's another worry.
The real problem is he knows how to plan counterterrorism operations. So he knows how the people who protect a high-value target will be thinking. He knows how the people who protect an embassy will be thinking. And so that puts him in a position to, as we would say in the military, to red team that, to think very intelligently out of it, how to disrupt those plans. That's a dangerous capability.
Another ominous signal, Khalimov's threat against what he called American pigs.
Inshallah. God willing, we will come to your cities, to your homes, and we will kill you.
All right, what do you think about this comeback here? Is it, you think that,
that's prepping the United States citizens to be afraid.
Mm-hmm. But also,
they're just prepping you. Yeah.
Yeah, but another point, you're right. Now, of course, they want to put fear into us. But one important thing I think that we should always not forget, that according to this report, and is witnessing, if it's real or not, I don't know for sure, it could be also an actor, but who knows? According to this report, is being trained on U.S. soil by our tax dollar. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah.
This is possible.
Well, like I said, I worked for Blackwater, and I never heard of any of that. But that's a private contracting group. So what they pretty much did was they brought him in under the guise of under the guise of a corporation instead of the government. The government would have been behind it, but they got him in through a corporation, not through the government.
Yes, the State Department of technically was behind though, because somebody, remember, the corporation, somebody must be paying the corporation, okay? I mean, let's say, for example,
Correct.
I am Blackwater, my job is to train people and get paid. That's it. I'm not into politics, okay? At the same time, somebody must pay the bill and must bring him here. And you don't go into the U.S. if you're an Arab like him without the State Department behind blessing and probably
exactly correct.
Special passport. So that's my point. Yeah, Blackwater probably was the instrument for the training, but behind there was somebody who was paying the bill, because Blackwater doesn't train you for free, and that's what they do. They get money out of that. And more important, the point is the State Department, according to this article, this report, was behind. Now, that's the scary thing. And we know now also a lot of things about Hillary, new emails that have been released, that they were there and they were preparing and giving weapons to in Libya to put into Syria. So that's another part of the pressure. So anything that you know as a first-time experience, because I can go just through what I find through the internet, through the article, but what you can tell us, what you learn being there about this weapon trafficking, especially from Hillary or whatever you think maybe State Department going to Syria to help ISIS.
Well, actually, they kept, I know at the beginning of the ISIS conflict, we kept giving the Iraqi army arms. And the best, I mean, good technology, good weapons. And they would fight, they would drop the weapons and surrender them to ISIS. Now, America had done that several times, knowing that the Iraqi army wasn't holding their own.
Wow.
And they were giving the guns to ISIS. So a way, even, I'm not sure of the black market, but I do know this, that some of the best weapons ended up in ISIS's hands that the Kurdish were having problems fighting.
Wow. Interesting. Now, I'm curious about that. You go there, you sleep at night, at least you try to sleep. I don't know how can you sleep, but you sleep, I guess. You have like some sort of sentry warning system, because after all, you say you are 6 miles away from the borders, okay? I mean, all
they have men manning the line 24 hours a day. Plus, they put up flares with tripwires. I mean, it's real primitive. I mean, there ain't no, there ain't no radar. There ain't no, nothing. There's nothing. I mean, normally, so if you don't spot them or they don't trip a flare, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and that's my point. You sleep with this family. Did you have your little room, or you were sleeping all together? How does it work? I'm curious. I'm trying to visualize.
No, actually, they gave me my own little area.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, so I mean, it was in the living room, and they just put a blanket up in a bed, and I was able to have my space, and
you had, of course, the point. You were still there, and your home, your place where you were living. I mean, let's say, put it this way, is a regular door, probably a regular window. I don't think you were living in some sort of a bunker. So, did you have any type of special little? Normally, I know, for example, when I go into a hotel, I'm kind of paranoid. I got all the tip. You want to know, I got door jammers, I got trip wires, I got everything, and I'm in a hotel room in America, okay? If I was going there, I don't know what I would do. I probably would do even more. But did you have any special things, or you say, okay, I'm fine, I'm safe here, the door can be whatever? I mean,
well, I mean, from being in the Army, I was never really that afraid of getting attacked at night, because I knew there was men watching. There were people on the front line. If we would have got overrun, my host family would have received a phone call to get up and go fight.
Okay, I see.
So it's a community. It's a community alert system. Cell phones. They have certain air horns they blow to warn people that there's been a breakthrough. So.
Little bit like, the time of our militia when we had during the Revolutionary War. They were community, brothers, sisters, families bonding together. That's interesting. Well, you really had, for sure, an experience that many other human beings in this society, at least today's America, had, because this is something normal. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's something we should aim to. This is not something I would like to have my son or daughter to go to, but sometimes, like in the past, our founding fathers had to bleed and die, so hopefully we didn't have to. That's the idea, and I hope we don't have to do it. We don't have to do it here, but unfortunately, this is the history. It's repeating itself. And now I have a question for you, because you're also an interesting guy. You don't just go out there in the middle of the Middle East to fight somebody else's fight as a volunteer, but also you're very concerned, according to what I've been following you on Facebook, also on our southern borders, that I really believe probably it's the first thing we should, as America, defend, because we are completely being invaded every night, every day, thanks to our corrupted traitors government that is sitting in Washington, most of them. And but this is not just about drug cartels or even, of course,
no.
trafficking. There's more.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that. As a matter of fact, the drug cartels are hooked up with ISIS and even Al Qaeda, because they have the poppies and they want the heroin. And so they have a real nice deal where they will smuggle 3 guys from Pakistan in a group of 100 illegals to go do dirt.
Yeah.
So it's happened.
No, what is my concern really, and you don't need to be a conspiracy theorist, just to have a brain and think. If somebody really has a plan to harm you, want to kill you, they need to find a way to infiltrate your defenses. And you know that very well. I've been on the borders myself in the past several times, and I was shocked to think that we can have spent so many billions of dollars defending somebody else's country borders. Like, for example, South Korea, not even a rat can go through the freaking minefield. But at the same time, we have our Mexico. Yeah, it's true. I mean, you cannot. That's the best borders you may dream. Okay, great border. I love it. But here in our southern border, you have pretty much open field that anybody can cross. And as you said, even blending in with the drug dealers, that would be bad enough, but you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Even if you had few every night in the last 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years, now you have already a sleeping army sitting in the cities of America. And I think we do. We are ready.
We do.
We are ready. I mean, they are ready, these bastards. That's the point.
I mean, I haven't myself, but a friend of mine actually found ISIS literature on illegal.
Wow.
About a year ago. And just like this guy, we were out there last weekend in Douglas. The guy's 80 years old, a combat veteran from D-Day.
Wow.
Him and his wife have coffee on their porch, and they watch people with backpacks and AK-47s coming.
Wow.
Crossing their fields. And the thing is this, they'll call the Border Patrol, but the Border Patrol won't respond for about an hour to 45 minutes, and by that time, they're in the wind and they're gone.
Yeah, I think about this is supposed to be one of the duties of the role of the federal government to protect the borders of this country. And we've been paying taxes over taxes. One thing they should do, and think how they feel, these poor people there paying property taxes, try to make a living out of their land, and at the same time they're left alone in the middle of this war zone. Because I tell you, I really believe that borders with Mexico, some part of the border, especially Arizona or Texas or even California, they are more dangerous than being probably in Iraq sometimes. Because, at least in Iraq, you can shoot back with no rules of engagement.
Oh, yeah.
You're there, your life, my life. Here, if you defend your property, they're going to come after you. If you point a loaded gun at some, 20 illegal aliens coming on your property, that, by the way, you may also have fear for your life because they can jump on you. Guess what? Some ranchers in the past lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we are even worse shape here because we have our own government fighting against us.
Oh, of course. I even heard of a woman that was asleep in her bed on the border. And illegals had got into her house, woke her up, and demanded breakfast.
Oh, wow. Room and bed. Thank God they didn't demand some sex, too. I mean, maybe they didn't like her enough. I mean, that's scary, man. Seriously.
That's true. She was an older lady, so she had to do the breakfast thing. But they commandeered her house for 2 days and moved drugs out of it.
Wow. I hope they left a tip at least. Oh, gosh, this is amazing.
They left her alive. And a lot of her property was stolen. But
wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. And this is happening under our watch. I'm very grateful. You're there. You do your. I'm just curious. all this, of course, doesn't really pay you. What do you do for living? You don't have to answer. I mean, after all, you gotta eat 3 times a day, I guess, and maybe you got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
What do you do for living? I mean, to pay your bills. You're always doing this stuff. I mean, it kind of takes time and energy.
I work at a tactical military simulation company. I don't want to mention the name though.
Okay, that's fine, of course. So you have, let's say, a job in the field. You know, you are at least in, but still, you know, you give a lot of your time that, of course, you could make an extra living for something that really doesn't pay you. And so interesting. I commend you for that. That's why I also want to put this show. By the way, this show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. And in this hour, we're treating a little bit everything. There is the part about love. You know, you do something in a way that completely for altruism. Okay, you don't. I call this brotherly love, humanly love. And then, of course, there is the guns part. You know, it's part of our way you can operate in this dimension, in this life, to fight evil. And then, of course, there is also freedom part. You know, that's the idea. Now, I have a last question because, you know, we're getting through. I mean, these hours went so fast. I mean, talking about training a little bit, you know. First, there is so many things. Of course, this is just a radio show. We don't have a school and we don't have the whole class. But I'm just curious. When you went there to, by the way, how long did you spend in this part of Middle Eastern between Syria and Turkish? How long did you spend?
9 months.
9 months. That's almost a year. To keep your skills trained, probably the best way you were just doing it, I guess, you know.
Correct.
But did you have any...
We would train on our own. We would train the Kurdish on how we were trained.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got cross-training how they did things, and we kind of intermingled the American style of fighting, you know, hand signals, call signs. My particular group, we used Templar call signs, which nobody knew of because these guys are all Muslim, and they have no idea what the Templars are.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, they just call us Crusaders. And so we kind of adopted the Templar call signs, and that's how I got my name Trinity, for the Father and Son and Holy Ghost.
Oh, interesting. That's very interesting. Wow. And any special, you know, sometimes there are some basic drills that you can do during the day just to keep your things, like, for example, some dry practice drills, or maybe, I don't know, limited amount of rounds drills, just to keep yourself always tuned up. Because I tell you, this is not like you're going to the range and today, you know, I'm having a bad day, I don't care. No, you got to be there, and even that extra split second of delay of, let's say, not being reactive enough, or your senses not being enough, can cost your life. Any type of regular general drill they used to do during the day, or whenever you had a chance?
We used to, if there was 4 of us sitting around camp, we would work on four man tactical drills.
Mm-hmm.
We would work on squad drills, shooting, hand to hand, gun disarms, you know, and like watching for people with suicide bombs.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I remember one time I was in a high position, and I was watching a crowd during an Iraqi election. And we noticed that everybody there was wearing, you know, sandals and barefoot, and, you know, that's how they walk around out there. And my buddy had noticed 3 guys in burqas wearing combat boots. So we were able to jam them up fast and found out that they did have weapons on them, and they were coming to hit the crowd.
Wow.
It's something that small you can look for. Just, you know, are they wearing combat boots? What's their mannerisms like? How are they acting? Are they standoffish? Are they hauling butt into your arena? You know, you look more for what the people are doing, you know, because you can't see the weapons underneath the burqas if they're wearing a body bomb or something. But you can literally tell their tenseness sometimes by the way they're standing, walking, or even trying to stay away from American forces, you know, because they don't want to come near us because we might search them.
Exactly. I mean, the first weapon, I always say, you know, it's our brain, it's our awareness, because if we don't see the fight is coming to us, we're always going to be half second too late. And I don't care how fast, strong you are, you're always going to be in disadvantage. So, you know, for sure, awareness, like an animal, you know, like a wolf, you must completely sharp your senses and, you know, and completely live in condition. I say normally yellow, but probably you were there orange 24/7, I guess, you know, to be always aware of what's going on around you. Any special...
You know, and to me, the best weapon is the human spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because, you know, we're not going to go quietly. We're going to do our very best. your will, I mean, just wanting to finish, to get to victory. I mean, you can have all the weapons in the world if you're not strong in your heart, those weapons ain't worth nothing.
Exactly. This is very true. And I always say, for example, let's look at history. Let's say also, population in the past, even armed with a machine gun or just with very, let's say, antique weapons. If you really have the passion, if you have your spirit and your mindset, that's the most important thing that is going to keep you victorious at the end. Because look at what happened, for example, of course, the
revolution.
The revolution, but let's say also, for example, during the Russian invasion in Afghanistan, yes, Afghanistan had the help of America, but still mostly they were fighting with machine guns and they're really non-organized, like you can have mostly in some other most advanced armies, But now, question is, this is so exciting because I tell you, we are talking about, by the way, listeners, if you're there, say, what are you talking all this stuff? This is a real life experience. Normally, I bring you the best instructors. I bring you great people that we can talk about training and all the things that you need to do. But this is about a human being that he went all the way in the middle of a conflict zone, not because was paid by anybody, but just for his beliefs to help a population that they are pretty much being attacked from all fronts. And it's the Kurdish, how do you pronounce it? Help me out. I always say so bad. What is the Kurdish population? How do you say that? Kurdistan, yes. So anyway,
the Kurdish people.
So spend 9 months there, shooting, being shot and shooting back, and all this to pretty much to try to help him out to survive. Because that point is, every time you got surrounded by all enemies, they will kill you. And at the end of the day,
you're dead.
You're dead. And unfortunately, they don't just kill you. Before they kill you in this part of the world, they first have fun with you. That's the sad part. And it's not just a clean death. Any bad?
Well, they try to tell you. They try to make you convert to Islam.
Yeah.
Okay. If you convert to Islam, you pretty much get a fast death.
Yeah.
If you don't convert to Islam, you're going to get a slow death.
Exactly. So that's pretty much it. So, in some other more civilized, and I've been sarcastic, Islamic country, they treat you like a slave. You mean you must pay the dhimma. Correct me if I pronounce it right. So that means
you're completely right.
You're like a big citizen. Okay, we can let you believe in whatever God you want, but guess what? You slave, you gotta pay every year like the tax, and you have no rights. Of course, you don't have guns and all this stuff.
Well, they kind of got that from. You know what it reminds me of? Back in 1930s and 40s, when Hitler would put the Star of David on the Jewish people's doors, same thing there. They write infidel on the door.
Yeah.
And then they come and collect their taxes.
Yes.
I mean, Hitler's alive and well today under Islam.
Yeah, and of course, Islam has been doing that for 700 years or more. It's nothing new, really. Now, question is, in all your 9 months, one experience that you really say one day or one moment that you say, maybe this is going to be the end. Any particular event that you're really freaking out that you thought maybe that was going to be over?
Oh, well, yeah, we got overrun 2 or 3 times. It was real hairy. They would take bulldozers and charge our line with bulldozers.
Wow.
Go right through our trucks, and then they would have suicide vehicles right behind them, and they would just keep running in at you.
Wow.
So the bulldozers were probably the scariest thing I encountered.
Did you have any special, let's say, modern rifles like RPG or maybe hand grenades?
I was able to acquire a Barrett 50 over there, which I was able to use really well.
That's great. That's something. But still, compared to what normally you may have, I'm talking about a little heavy firepower. That's still something that.
Oh, I know.
It's nothing.
Sometimes we had it. Sometimes we didn't. We had everything from. Shoot from mortars. I mean, just small arms. I mean, where I was at, it was just pretty much small arms. I mean, I felt like we were pretty much the Americans in the Revolution with pitchforks and muskets.
Wow.
That's how I felt. Because we didn't have the heavy armor. We didn't have the heavy weapons. I didn't even see a 50 cal machine gun over there.
Wow, that's pretty scary, man. Any type of use of Molotov bottles, for example, during the Cold War or before the Cold War, in some part of East Europe, especially when there was the invasion of Prague or different part of Czechoslovakia. I mean, that was one of the best things they could find, civilians, to put together to try to stop heavy vehicles. Did you have any use of those?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, homemade stuff we use. It's amazing what those people can come up with.
Okay, interesting. Well, I want to really say thank you, first of all, to be on the show, because I think it's an interesting experience. And I want to give you the floor now. Whatever you want to say, you got 2 more minutes, and I want to give you the floor. You can say whatever you want, of course, always with the FCC rules of language that we need to comply. Go ahead, please. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I wanted to give you the floor, the last 2 minutes. Whatever would you like to talk?
Who, me?
Yes. I want to give you close.
Oh, I thought you were talking. I thought it was a caller.
No. You.
Well, you know what I really like to say? I really like to say people start researching Kurdistan and helping. If you can send them money, send them money. If you can send them a Bible, send them a Bible. If you know somebody that can go out there and help them, please go out there and help them before this turns into our country. You know, I mean, we got to stop ISIS there before they become here. We need to kill them. They need to go. There's going to be no quarter with those people. Those people are going to kill you. They're going to destroy your faith, your family, and everything we work so hard to build here in this nation.
I have a question for you. You know, you heard about Germany last few weeks. They are pretty much preparing for something that we don't know, but they're saying for the population to prepare food, medical supply, and also they are conscripting medicals, and they are preparing the army to be deployed on German soil. Same story with the Czech Republic. And you think something is brewing maybe the next few weeks?
I do.
What do you think?
I do. I mean, you got to understand. What country was that in? Oh my gosh. Let me think of this for a second. There was a particular country, and for some reason, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot remember the name.
Okay.
But in one neighborhood, they had 20,000 ISIS fighters that had pledged allegiance to ISIS and went over there. And this is one little town in Europe.
Wow.
You know, so there is an army there. Yeah. That, you know, and it's going to bleed over here. It is coming. You know, we just got to be ready. We're Americans. I don't see, you know, why we can't dust off our backs, you know, pick up our Second Amendment again and start training.
All right. Listen, I want to thank you, Trinity. Let's be in touch more. By the way, one time I would like to come down there. It would be my honor to train together, and that would be really fun. Invite me whenever you do something, please, okay?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have you. And I just want to say this. Before we got to talk on Facebook, I have always been the biggest fan of Mr. Zanna.
Oh.
I used to listen to the Minuteman song over there. I lost my Don't Tread on Us CD while I was there. Which, as a matter of fact, I'm going to have to get another one. But I want to get one.
I'll send it to you as my gift. Send me your address.
Oh, you're awesome.
I'll send you a CD and also a nice bag of coffee as my gift for you and your wife. Okay.
Oh man, you're awesome.
Okay.
You're awesome.
Waiting for you.
Thank you for doing what you do for our country.
Hey,
I mean, you're such a breath of fresh air.
I just might doing my duty. Thank you very much. Guys, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We look at Zanna, ready for our number 3.